Subscribe to Niger's Craziest. Press the bell icon and never miss another video update.
Niger's Craziest is not a review of any political parties, individuals, or religious group. This show is just for comedy purposes only. It might contain scenes with strong languages, strong satirical humor, links to a relative you might know, and references some may find offensive. If that kind of thing will offend you, because close your browser now and get out of here. Get out of here, man! Shit, I'm saying! Because that's what we do!
Comedians are absolutely insane. That is illegal.
Hi guys, it's your boy Lafmeyer, it's your boy Joshua. We're here to tell you about our new YouTube channel, My African Truth. Basically, because of the attacks we've been getting from prophets and all other people trying to take down our channel because we are talking about them and talking about the truth in Africa, we opened a backup channel. So we need you guys to just go subscribe to, as you're subscribing to Niger's Craziest, subscribe to our backup channel just in case. Here we'll be talking about entertainment,
politics,
religion,
and everything that have to do with Africa.
Thank you guys. We love you.
Omega fire, fire you in the name of Jesus. Omega fire, fire you. So fire you a woman. Anytime you come here, fire will fire you. Omega fire, fire you. Omega fire. This is the time. Come and receive your fire. You'll be mega. Babies and best men, mother, father, children, small pikin, agwalagwa. If you down or it does someone, welcome, because this F is called, it's all about Omega fire. Oh, oh, somebody is just megai people. In megai people and giving them fire. Underground from top. They need to watch this video, please, with your church mind, with your good heart. Go down, relaxation your mind. Hear a story that touches the heart of the heart attack. You will not have heart attack. Relaxation your mind. Watch this video. Oh Lord, please, I beg you.
Please, when you're watching this video, I want all the fanatics of Apostle Suleman, please don't say any nonsense. Open your mind and watch this video. Don't always keep an open mind when you see things like this, because one might be an accident, two is a coincidence, but once you don't reach 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there is an element of truth. So watch this video. The man alleged that Apostle Suleman collected his wife. So he came out to say, and he was interviewed by Suleman Izan.
Shout out to Suleman Izan.
Suleman is too much. You see, this is the work J. Israel was supposed to be doing. Instead, it's Magaya in blessing. Using his umboro to Magaya blessing. But no problem. Watch when we finish, come back, we'll talk.
I'm glad to see you that you were calm down. Watching your video yesterday, you were very emotional and there was so much pain. How do you feel today? After yesterday, the news is all out there. I know there's so much pressure. How do you feel today?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mr. Solomon, for having me. There is no better way to tell how I feel at the time, other than to continue to ask God for grace and for His help, in the circumstance, because the injustice done to my little baby, is not something that can be forgotten. In a short time. It's something that will live with me for a long time to come. So that's basically it. That's where we are.
There's quite a lot of people. We're gonna get to some of the things that you raised yesterday, and just to build a background just about your love relationship with your wife. How long have you been married, and what was your marriage like for as long as you guys were married?
Well, we were 2019, or if I would say 2020 was supposed to be 12 years of our marriage. Probably December 6th would have been our marriage anniversary. But for the separation, I think by 2019, in which the separation took place, that would be 11 years. But basically, my marriage was good. We as long as we were together, just like how every marriage has its ups and downs and all of that. We kept going, praying and trusting God for grace, and God was faithful. until what happened, basically.
Now, you met. I want to go through some of the stuff you raised in your video, and some of the early signs that you saw that there was some sort of an entanglement between your wife and Johnson Suleman. You mentioned your wife when you met her being a virgin, and you mentioned the hotel, where they normally go to pray, or no, where they normally go to pray. And anyway, that's the second one. When did you notice there was something wrong, and what was sort of like the discussions that you guys had around it?
Well, basically, I think from the time I introduced her to Apostle Johnson Suleman, who I had met, I think barely few months, before then, weakness is different from wickedness.
Yes.
Are you hear what I'm saying? Apostle Suleman's situation is not a function of weakness; it's a function of wickedness. Because I'm not the first person he has done this to. There are so many victims out there who probably cannot speak up for reasons of fear, of his, position and influence and connections and all of that. But I have made up my mind that this is my story, this is my truth. Whatever it will take me, I will fight for my children, I will fight for my home. So basically, my wife, at some point, would mention to me of his invitations of her, to certain places, come and stay with me, can you come to Benin, so locations and all of that. Basically, I never really, I had this Catholic charismatic renewal background. Back in the days, they were more like the deeper life. Very spiritual and straight to the point. So that was the kind of background I had. So it's even on Christianly for you to even imagine that for somebody you refer to or you esteem and dear as a spiritual leader to even, would want to contemplate having something to do with somebody who is a daughter, let alone, your son's daughter or fiancé, as it were. So I would basically just overlook it and say, maybe Papa is lonely and all of that. He probably just needs company because of his frequent travels and all of that. Just feel free, But after some point, she began to mention to me, of his interest in her, and all of that. And I said, well, at this point, it appears that you may really have to be careful, about your closeness and all of that. But she was basically like, there is really nothing like that she have everything under control. From one point to the other, after some point, she was no longer opening up to me, for probably for fear that, okay, maybe I was beginning to process the whole thing and it was probably beginning to affect my mood and all of that, until we eventually got married. All of this was even before we got married in 2008, December 6th. Then after we got married, because I started out pastoring in Warri, Delta State here in Nigeria, I was posted from there to Benin, branch 2, Urubi, specific. That was where I was pastoring. You had branch 1. Branch 1 was being headed by Pastor Temidayo then. That one has also left the ministry because of things like this and all of that. That one has left. So then eventually I was, after some time, I was posted from there to Osun State. Then it was in Osun State. I was posted to Osun State 2010. All right. So that was when about the time Celebration TV, starting and all of that, Rema for Living, where the plans were underway, basically, and all of that. So for reasons of, the fact that my wife was, a part-time staff with NTA Iraq, but you can Google it. Is there on YouTube, the NTA Iraq. When you have NTA Benin, and they extended the stations to some of these villages around and all of that, and they had their offices there. So that's where she was working as one of the broadcasters, And so Suleman now felt that, okay, that she would be instrumental to the development of Celebration TV and all of that. He asked her to resign, which she did, and all of that. So as of 2009, we had our first daughter, whose name is Michelle. God blessed us with that girl exactly November 24th, 2009. So then into 2010, when we're in Osun State now, we had just moved to Osun State, barely about 6 months thereabout, to 7 months, when she will have to travel back and forth to Auchi, even to Lagos, doing meetings with Apostle Suleman and team and all of that. I basically felt neutral about it, considering the fact that she had a baby and all of that. So when she came back on one of the days, that was when she told me that she really needed to talk to me, about something that had happened. So I was like, go ahead. And she said, this is what happened, that Apostle Suleman lodged. Everybody who are hearing me from around the world, or who probably have been to Auchi, Edo State, they know Uyi Grand. Uyi Grand is a popular hotel in Auchi, Edo State. As a matter of fact, that's one of the hotels that hosts, some of the guests that's come from Asad Auchi and all of that. So that was where he would basically lodge some of his guests, and what you have. So that was where she was lodged. So she told me 2 days later, because her conscience was really pricking her, that this is what happened. And that when she told me, I died as a man from that time. That Apostle Suleman came to her room, and had carnal knowledge of her, slept with her. So I was basically like, where was my daughter? That was the first question I asked. I said, where was Michelle? She said Michelle was on the bed, pushed aside. That's one thing I'm not very sure how much I can live with it. So I died as a man from that moment. My pain was, it's not something to even imagine, it's not something to consider. Irrespective of what she says on social media, irrespective of how they try to manipulate it, I know what I'm saying with all authority. This was what my wife told me, and from that time,
actually, we're going to get to a place where we're going to talk about your wife and what she has said in social media. And just so everybody would know, his wife doesn't grant interviews. Just so you know, right? Mm-hmm. So some people are wondering, you should have called the wife to speak and all that. We tried to reach out to her, but the impression we got is she's not ready. She doesn't even want to. The video that she actually did, the 9 minutes video that she did, she didn't post it herself. Some other person posted it and she shared it. Just so you know. And what do you do when she doesn't want to speak to the media? Then you obviously, and that's why I posted her video earlier on, just so people would know. If I was just trying to be one-sided, I wouldn't post her video. But you mentioned something, Mike, and for me, it's having a daughter and having a mother and having a man who is not our father on top of the mother on the same bed. How old was she? And how did that break you? Because we live in a society where there's a lot of abuse of girls and abuse of minors and everything. People can do some very despicable things. I don't care whether you're a bishop or an apostle. And that's what she told you herself, because she was trying to come clean, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously.
How did that break you? Your daughter was on the same bed, sleeping on one side, and then the mother your wife was on one side, and then there's a man who you regarded as a father, as a leader, on top of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said in starting, that's something that I will have to live with for a long time to come. Because it left a dent on my soul. And that's one of my motivation for what I'm doing. It does not matter where Suleman takes me to. I will repeat what I have said 100 times.
Yeah.
Because I know what I was told, and I know the impact that had on me even till this very moment that as we speak. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One thing I also need us to understand is that Apostle Suleman is not a man of God. He's not. The Apostle Suleman is not a man of God.
Yes.
You see, because I viewed that, that incident beyond just wanting to sleep with a woman. There must be some reasons or probably a occultic purpose attached to it. And some persons have spoken to me, in confidence to by that action, that child comes under a curse, probably. That only the father of that child can break that curse. Or probably a genuine man of God. These are the two persons who may want to minister to that child. And that's why the first thing I'm going to demand, is to release my children, first of all, for a DNA test. Because I need to be sure that these children are even my own in the first place.
Actually, what you're saying was quite true, because yesterday when I was doing the broadcast and playing some of your videos, someone in the US actually said, "Hey, how are you sure those kids are your kids?
Obviously.
If he has been
Obviously.
sleeping with your wife for that long, how are
Yeah.
you sure kids are really your kids?
Of course.
You've loved them, you've cared for them, you provided for them as a father, you've done your best, but it's always good to know. And to be honest with you, they said in Nigeria, I saw it a couple of weeks ago, that Nigeria is actually the number one country where actually women cheat, where the children, a lot of kids do not belong to who they think is their father.
Yeah.
It was a couple of weeks ago. If people Google it, you're going to see it somewhere. So I think it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
You know, it's the right thing to demand. And you were saying you haven't seen your kids for how many years?
1 year. This is 1 year going to 2 years. 1 year, 6 months thereabout.
How old are they? So you don't know how they're doing in school. You don't. How old are they?
I don't know nothing, because Apostle Suleman threatened me that if he ever sees me close to my wife and my children, that he would take me out. You know, during December, just this December that passed, I practically didn't stay in my house because of some threats that got to me. Some persons had to meet me in confidence and say, "Hey, you have to stay away from the house because this man has vowed that he will take you out." Because he actually threatened me in December 2018, in last Sunday of December 2018, that if I leave Omega Fire Ministries, he gives me 2 years, that my wife will leave me and that I will lose my life. This was the threat he made to me. So the first one has happened, which is my wife leaving me. And March this year, which will make it the second year that I left, because I left in March 2019. You know, so that's why I have to reach out, because of the threats and all of that, for everybody to come to my aid. Because as I speak, I need help, because I'll be receiving attacks left, right, and center, and all of that, which probably I've spoken to when we spoke last year. I also mentioned them to you.
See, this story is long. We will not say much, but one small thing. Now the woman just ran out of the home without telling the husband.
Because you know that she has collected things, enough money from
and how in this world that man is a pastor in that church before. He was said they sent him away. That man, Suleman, sent him away. Now he now brought his wife. I brought his wife. He now made him a pastor over a church, a big church in Abuja. Look at it now. And he knows that this man is having family issue. He never called this guy to settle it. He now gave this woman a role, gave her a ministry in one place. Look at the problem. Now, there's no assurance that those children, 3 children are many, that this woman say he have for this man. You need to do DNA, because nobody knows if the children belongs to this man. Nobody knows. Now he told this man that if you leave Omega Fire Ministry, you will suffer. Your wife will be out of your home, and you yourself, your life will be at stake. And then it is happening. He said he was threatened. That was why he couldn't talk for a long time. But he let loose now. He had to talk.
You remember that Stephanie Otobo case? That they were threatening the girl up and down. The girl will say one thing. By the time they take her to court, push her around. Tomorrow she will come, she will say another thing. You know, they threatened that girl's life. At the end of the day, the girl had to come out and say everything is a lie.
Like, hey, so everything is a lie. Now, look at this man. Suleman is a good, I don't know. He asked this man, who is your woman? You know, your kind of wife that you married. Who? He said, this woman I married, this is not the person I married. This man has used something on her. From behind. This thing is not ordinary eye. He said in that state where their church is and everybody, the pastors, they know the atrocity this man has caused, sleeping with different women.
Maybe I told you that, that somebody that woman wrote me that when it comes to US like this.
They used to give him olosho. And if this guy talked about one, Solomon talked about one strippers club that used to come to that one used to carry, and that woman from USA sent you that message. You see the relationship. Why they no send message say you dey go carry olosho? Even if you dey carry olosho,
it's him that brings olosho for me. Every time I want olosho, I call him. He will bring the olosho. That's how he knows that I carry olosho.
But I dey give you olosho when they go church.
Ishiake. My people, we said we are not going to talk too much, because if we talk, this video is going to be long forever. That is why we decided that we are not going to talk too much. Use your sense of discerning. 1 is an accident, 2 is a coincidence, 3, if you don't pass 3, it has passed. Be careful, it has more than coincidence.
Every year you always come.
Every year there's somebody that come out that you have used your mboro to magaya their wife or their girlfriend. Is it only you that is a pastor? Is it only you?
Please send this video, please.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. Don't forget, for a talking fee, you can have your product displayed on our table. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at LaughMayor. Follow him on Instagram at George Comedian. Don't forget, we have a new YouTube channel. It's called My African Truth. Go there. It's a backup channel to this channel because of the attacks we get from this prophet. And don't forget, we have our merchandise up on YouTube. Please go. It's on Teespring. The link will be in the description. Shop, buy what you want. We have nose masks, we have fancy t-shirts, we have everything there. Thank you guys. We love you. We'll see you on the next episode.